Hey guys, I promised myself that I'd make a video every single week, but I've fallen off of that already. I did make a video and I edited the video and I intended to have, what's it called? Voiceover over the video, but then that just ended up never happening. I have my dog in my lap, so if you see me petting something, that's what I'm petting. So that was one reason why there wasn't a video, and then the other reason why there wasn't a video was because I have been thinking a lot about the kind of content that I want to make, and obviously what's fresh on my mind is the weight thing, but I don't only want to talk about the weight thing. But I think because I'm still trying to lose that last few pounds, I'm still thinking about it a fair bit. I wanted to lose about another 23 pounds. I'm 6 down, so I have 17 pounds to go. I'm still kind of dealing with that process. So I'm thinking about weight loss, all of that stuff on a fairly frequent basis. And one thing that I've been thinking about recently is like fat acceptance. It's not as much of a thing as it was like in the 2010s. That's kind of, in my opinion, the heyday of fat acceptance, but I believe it's having a resurgence, perhaps due to TikTok and the use of it. But when I last looked into fat acceptance, I don't know, I kind of found myself like split in several different thought patterns, I guess. One is that I think the core of the message is true, but then what people have built on it is just like freaking wild. So my dog is so needy for pets, you guys. Huh, a little baby. So I knit him this sweater, by the way. It's this pastel sweater he's wearing. I knit it for him because he's such a weird shape that clothes don't fit him. So I have to knit them myself, I guess. It's actually kind of warm, so let me take that off of him. So he's a little baby and he loves pets, so he's gonna be all over me. But anyway, so the reason I was thinking about fat acceptance is that I have somebody in my personal life who is pretty far and extremist in their interpretation of fat acceptance. In their interpretation of fat acceptance and how they feel about it, to the extent that despite being very overweight, this person in my personal life does not believe that they have any issues with food, that they have any issues with emotional eating, compulsive eating, overeating, anything like that. They fundamentally believe that they are just overweight for some magical reason unbeknownst to them. I don't even think they believe in calories in, calories out, or perhaps to go further with that, maybe they don't even believe in thermodynamics, who knows. But they reached out to me and we started having this conversation, and it kind of made me think about fat acceptance and to think about what it was like when it was big on Tumblr a decade ago. And even back then, there was this kind of duality to it, where on the one hand, people were saying, hey, it's not right to treat people poorly just because they're overweight. And on the other hand, then there were people who were much more extreme and saying, oh, it's not my fault if I'm overweight. I don't have any control over my body or what I look like. And therefore, you're really, really messed up if you treat me poorly. So obviously, these people, I think, are just like nuts and are beyond comprehension for me. But I think these other people have a lot of merit. And I say that as somebody who has weighed my current weight and also 100 pounds more than this weight. I lost all of that weight without surgical intervention, without semaglutide, Ozempic, or tirzepatide, which I believe is Zepbound. So I lost that weight without those medications naturally, right? So obviously it's possible, and I believe that it's possible. But I will say that like people treated me kind of badly when I weighed a lot more, and I think that's messed up. For example, at the time I had this boyfriend, and people would flirt with him in front of me. Like other women would flirt with him in front of me, like almost like I didn't exist. Another instance is that I went to this art show, and this woman in like to my face went on a tirade about how fat people need to stop making excuses for themselves and they need to lose weight because it's bad for their health, which all of that is true, but dog, like, read the room. We are in an art setting doing art together. Like, what makes you think that that's like a socially appropriate thing to say? And two, it's none of your business if I'm not ready to lose weight. Novel idea there. It's not your business what other people choose to do with their bodies and their lives if it's not harming you directly. I think there's an argument to be made that, hey, there are costs on the healthcare system due to obesity, which is totally valid. I just don't think that that is what most people are thinking about when they are discriminating against overweight people. So People were kind of rotten to me when I was overweight, and they're a lot nicer to me. I've mentioned before that it feels like I'm less invisible at a normal weight, and that kind of sucks because I got used to being invisible and now I have to be visible and it's not comfy. People take me more seriously, they listen to me more. All of these just like really weird things. There's data that shows that women who are overweight face discrimination in the workplace at relatively low BMI compared to men who are overweight. There's data that shows that people who are overweight make less money. There's data that shows that people who are overweight are less likely to be hired. So all of that is nuts to me, and I don't understand how some people can just completely disregard all of that. I think it shouldn't make a difference whether someone is overweight or not when you're hiring a candidate. I don't know. I just don't understand how you can be so punitive about choices that somebody decides to make in their own personal life. For example, I would never punish somebody for choosing to have tattoos. I would never punish somebody for dyeing their hair a funky color. I would never use that to say, hey, therefore you're a less worthy person. I should be able to flirt with your boyfriend. I should be able to cut you off in line. I should be able to be rude to you. I should be able to talk down to you in a completely inappropriate setting because of these personal choices that you make. Yet we do it all the time with overweight people, and it is freaking wild to me. So that has been on my mind. The other thing that I've been thinking about is how for a long time, I kind of perceived weight loss as being difficult, if not nearly impossible, because I was diagnosed with PCOS. Like, I automatically used that as an excuse for myself that I didn't really have to try anymore. And I think a lot of women do that, honestly. And maybe this is because I've been spending time on the wrong social media accounts, but I see so many women online being like, oh, well, I have PCOS, therefore it's impossible for me to lose weight. Like, girl, no, it isn't. It is a lot hard. It's not even a lot. Okay, it is harder, I will say. It is harder to lose weight when you have PCOS with insulin resistance. It's harder to lose weight when you have chronic pain. It is harder to lose weight when you're older and have less muscle mass or less mobility. All of those things are harder, but they're not impossible. I think for me, the moment of realization was I heard somebody say, okay, the price will never change. Like, you will always have PCOS. It will always be harder for you. So what are you going to do? Just give up? And then I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. What am I going to do? Just give up? I'm not going to give up because that's not the life that I want to live. And part of the reason that I wanted to lose weight is because being a fat person sucks so much. Like, it just sucks so much. People are so mean to you when you're fat. That's literally part of why I wanted to lose weight. So I guess in that way, fat shaming works, and we should just do it to everybody because it's so wonderful and definitely cured all of my problems now that I've lost weight. Those are just some of the things that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to take the time to share.